Welcome to the Social Talk, the podcast where we deep dive into the world of creative minds and inspiring stories. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce our guest, Sanjit, who is an event architect at Orbit Events, who has created wide varieties of events like eco-conscious music festival, automotive events, women empowerment events, and a lot more. Welcome to the Social Talk, Sanjit.
Thank you, Naseef. It's an absolute pleasure to be here with you on Social Talk.
I would like to begin this episode of Social Talk with asking you more about the event and the event landscape in UAE. What is your take on that part?
Well, when you talk about events and when you talk about entertainment, exhibitions, I think Dubai and the UAE sets the benchmark for doing some of the world's biggest and the best when it comes to events. So if you look at the industry, the MICE industry, I think it's about 44% market share. If you look at it, the number of tourists coming in, the number of businesses trying to set up, and the whole ease to do business, the whole platform where new event technologies that come in, and you have large scale technology exhibitions like the GITEX that happens here and numerous exhibits and summits that happen here, all aligned to the event industry. And all of this sets a benchmark for event planners and companies and people here to raise the bar in the way they deliver events. So if you're not standing out in the crowd, if you're not innovating to the trends that's like in a rapidly changing landscape, I think you're just going to be lost in the crowd. So you need to be top notch in the way and staying up to the trends and all of that stuff. So when you talk about regions like UAE, especially Dubai and Abu Dhabi, there's stiff competition between these two cities.
And now we have Saudi Arabia as well. So how do you?
Saudi Arabia has not gone one step ahead in terms of the way they're trying to position and market the destination and the region, and how they've opened up on a lot of perspectives in the way they do events. A few years back, you would never even imagine Saudi Arabia to host one of the biggest music festivals that hosts some of the biggest names in the event in the music industry, and all across 3 days, 5 days, 200 plus artists. You'd never imagine. So that's just one aspect of it. But then if you look at the overall landscape, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi are like closely competing with each other to be at the top of the event game. Yeah.
When it comes to you have created one of the most biggest eco-conscious festival, which is Earth Soul Festival. And another event which you did was Abaya Rally, which I had the pleasure to be part of it. So what was your experience and how did you manage to make such a big event successful?
Just to start off with the Abaya Rally, it was a brainchild of Pragna, who heads Orbit Events. It was something that she wanted to have a platform where understanding the car culture in the region and understanding there are so many car clubs and there's so much of beautiful cars and creativity you could see unfold in the automotive world. There had to be a platform where people, communities come and enjoy the cars, as well as the car community, to a place for them to interact and network and things like that. So starting off with that, and especially empowering women, little do you see when you associate women and cars, but now that game is changing. Women are driving on the fast lane these days, and they're like stepping up the game when it comes to automotive. And it's a wonderful idea that she brought across to ensure that there's empowerment at the forefront, at the same time showcasing the whole bold, fierce, adventurous kind of aura that women carry. Abaya Rally is a platform to empower, and it's also a platform to celebrate and honor achievements of women in the region, and that's totally her brainchild.
And also, can you throw some light on Earth Soul Festival as well?
Earth Soul Festival has been a labor of love. I'm somebody who's very aligned to music. And yeah, I've had a fair share of also humming a few tunes, singing a bit in my past, and with a lot of network that I've built around the music space and the music being very close to my heart. Of course, you have great concepts and you have great events and huge artists coming to Dubai. But there was no music festival in the region, and there's no point having a festival which is going to be lost among the other massive festivals in the region. So there needed to be something that stands apart, something which has some kind of a value and a takeaway. And we have a very strong community here. Okay. Different nationalities, all very empowered, very engaged. and you have a lot of them who are very aligned to doing something for communities, doing something for the planet, checking all the boxes, putting everything into all these pieces of puzzle into one, into the whole perspective, and ensuring that we come up with a product called Earth Soul Festival.
Okay.
Very true, like the name sounds, soul and earth coming together. So yeah, that's been the origin of it, and we've been great that we've been able to launch this year and create some impact. Early days, but the roadmap ahead is clear.
So you mentioned about your personal relationship with music. So I know that you have led a band and you were like very much active in the music field in Bangalore, and you have created a great song in regards to the numbers. Can you just explain a bit more about that, the human side of Sanjit?
Yeah, so music, like I said, has always been my safe space, and I've always inspired by people who are way better musically, and I've been surrounded by some of these really talented people, and somehow those good influences rubbed off on me, and luckily I've been in the right circles, and had been fortunate enough to be part of some band circuits back in Bangalore, had a semi-pro band. I've also been a part of music called a cappella, which is just voices, percussions, voices harmonizing with different scales and pitches and whatnot, and parts, singing and parts, really. So I've been, pretty much exposed to these kind of things, and I've had the honor of being on stage.
So how was your feeling like coming from a very active music industry in Bangalore and moving your career to Dubai?
Yeah, so they say when you do something which is your passion, it doesn't feel like you're working. I'm glad that as part of what I do, marketing and events, and other things that we curate and plan, like concepts, it's been great that I've been able to add music or performances, live performances, into the whole equation. Having said that, with the networks that I've had and some possible collaborations of the past, I'm glad that I've been able to make some good contacts and relationships, and we add value to every event with every artist or somebody who enhances the whole event experience, right? Because ultimately people come to get that wow factor.
So along the whole journey, like who inspires you the most?
Professionally?
Both professionally and personally.
Personally?
Both professionally
I
and
think
personally.
two people. One would be my brother, because he's a musician himself and he sings like really well, and he's been one of the largest influences for me as somebody who was more into sports to deviate and get into the music side of things. And then I saw the comfort and that you get being part of music. And then when you look at the professional side of things, I'm really glad that all these concepts and ideas that we've just spoken about, you need to have somebody who mentors you, who believes in your vision. And I'm glad to be part of a system where under great leadership, and my boss who believes in these visions, and then they put A and B together, the creative side of things and also the commercial viability, and all these things into perspective, and then gives wings to these concepts. And that's what you've seen as these IPs that have grown over year, and we've been really grateful that we've been able to do editions after editions. Some events are going down to 3 editions, some are like just launched last year, and with a positive projection forward to take off, and we've got overwhelming response to people who've attended them.
So like you mentioned about IP events. What was the inspirations behind each IP events? So what is your process on that?
See, sometimes it's just an idea, Naseef. You possibly moving through your day, or you're having your favorite meal, or you're like playing a game, or you're just sleeping. And then you come up with an idea and thinking that, wow, this has not been done before, or it has been done, but it's not been done to the way you're thinking of. So when these ideas get really, buzzing in your mind, and then you are not at peace until you put that down on paper. And I have that itch. And I something in my mind that I strongly feel good about. I'd like to see it to fruition. So then starts on the drawing board, and then coming up with the name and the concept, and who we try and reach out to, who's the target audience. And then also thinking from the commercial side of things, would brands be aligned? Would communities like this? Is this something that they're already getting from the region? Or is it something that we can enhance better to make the whole experience better? So keeping all that in mind, and then starts the whole planning of it. When is the right time to do it? coming up with the creative assets for it. That's, you're into
Yeah.
a lot of videos and social media, and how do we reach to the right market? And and then so that's the whole roadmap, and then there's no end. Every time we do something, there's so much of learning, and it's so humbling to see that those little failures, I call it organized chaos.
Okay.
And you see creativity buzzing, and then you see some areas that you could have done better, and then that's the whole humbling experience where you're learning and coming back at the next edition with something else, or a value add that you've seen from somewhere else in the world, and that inspires you to see how you can customize it to the need in the region. So
Just take me through your journey as an event planner. How is your day looks like regularly?
So I've given you a small gist of the creative side of things.
Yeah.
And the creative side is never satisfied.
Yeah.
And because of that, I'm not sure if you'll agree to me that I find it difficult sleeping sometimes. And I'm a late sleeper, and creative minds are always up and running at night. So every time there is like these networking meets and early morning meetings, and I find it's so difficult to surface. But we need to push forward, and those ideas that you were dreaming about last night, if you need to see that being fulfilled, you need to wake up the next day. So that's how it is when it comes to the conceptualization of it. And then the whole challenge of trying to convince people to believe in your idea.
Okay.
And that's the biggest challenge. So somehow you're able to convince people in your network, hey, this is a great idea, and we could elevate with this concept. And then comes the bigger task of convincing somebody who's not part of your system, a brand. Would they believe? Does the ethos match with your ideology? And would the community believe? Because if the community doesn't believe, and they don't align and relate to what your concept is all about, then I think that's the biggest drawback.
Absolutely.
So that's the first part of the ideation part, which everybody sees just the tip of the iceberg.
Exactly.
Nobody sees the amount of work and the colossal amount of time that's invested back end, and those sleepless nights and those rejections and all of that. Nobody sees all of that, but that's the beauty of it. And when you see all of that, and you see this tip of that iceberg, which looks what it needs to look like, and then people enjoy it and appreciate it, and I think that's the biggest win. So from that part goes to the whole execution. Execution would be right from aligning the right partners, aligning the right people to associate with your event. As much as you are the back end of these concepts, you need to have a face, you need to have an artist, you need to have the right kind of leverage when it comes to marketing, and how do you put it out there, what channels are you using, and who are the other people who support it, like influencers, like people, authentic influencers. Of course, you have people with the numbers, but do they really align with what you believe in?
Yeah.
So, it's a very complex, but keeping it simple is your biggest challenge. And the more you keep it simple and you take it step by step, you see milestones being crossed. And then comes the event day.
Yeah.
The curtains open, and you see this massive crowd with all this effort and hard work you've put in, and people there anticipating a great output.
So if someone is watching who wants to become an event planner, what are the things they should be taking care of as an individual?
I'm not sure if I'm qualified enough, like some of the big names out there who could possibly help with guiding somebody, but I can give some things that worked well for me. I'm somebody who's very creative, and I was more into marketing side of things, and which I still am. I believe to see a fruit of your labor, you need to go ahead and ensure that you see it come to reality. So the world of events is very closely associated with marketing. And so those have been my initial routes to ensure that I'm into this industry. And is firstly, you need to have great communication. These ideas can be put in the best way, not just for people to believe in you. You need to be a multitasker. And that's a challenge that
Not everybody can do that.
yeah,
right?
and I juggle with that every day. I wouldn't say easier, but you feel that, okay, you're doing one better than yesterday. Apart from that, you need to have a vision. You are seeing something scribbled on paper unfold into something magical.
Okay.
So if you don't have that vision of what you want to achieve, I don't think you can see something being built. And third thing would be networking. It's very important to network. I think these are some of the things, and then never give up attitude. There's no room for failure. But if you fail, let it be like it was a rehearsed failure, and then you learn from it.
Okay.
and you come back to enhance the experience next time. So I think these are some of the things when you build that in you as quality, there's always something new to learn. Like right now, when you look at the UAE and when you look at everything around the events, it's everything to do with technology.
Yeah.
The way event technology has taken off from
It's-
face recognition to virtual reality, AI now stepping in a big game.
Okay,
So even into events.
We have known each other like for quite a long time, but when I was trying to research more about you, I went through like Google and I searched for something, and this article came up saying you were the event director of one of the biggest multicultural music event happened in India, which having like more than 40 plus artists taking place in that event. How did you come up with that?
So that was a music festival that happens in South India because I was very closely associated with a lot of artists. I understand genres right from jazz to classical to rock to indie music. You know, a lot of different experimental music. And then you understand your audience. What is it that they want to do? And sometimes there are some really good bands that come out of India. Not just India, but I'm sure in the UAE as well. But when you have a lot of these great bands and they are not under any labels and their music is out there that's within a close community. So it was always essential to make sure that these bands are deserving and they have a launch pad where their music reaches out into the world. Of course, now you have the Spotify's and the Deezers and you have Apple Music and whatnot. Back in the days, these things were a bit more of a luxury or was just very new and you had to be out there to show your music. And then I remember I come from those times when people were using CDs and giving away their demos out and things like that to what it is evolved.
It's harder
today.
to reach people, right?
Yeah. You see potential, you see talent, you see something that's really beautiful to your ears, and you see something that's top on talent, and I think they deserve a stage. And so sometimes the key of putting together 2 stages programmed full of artists, and so people need to discover musics like how the European festivals and the US music festivals, as you can see, there are multiple stages.
Yeah.
People discover the artists that they want to listen to. And so all I believe is let your ears be the map and you discover new music, you discover new tastes and never know. The next thing you know is you heard this band and their music turns out to be something that you've been looking out for and they turn out to be your next favorite artist or band. So, yeah.
And also, you have worked with really big names, Jason Derulo, Mohammad Azruddin, A.R. Rahman, and British rapper Prince. How do you feel about that?
So I never ever expected to be associated in small ways because these are guys that you're listening on your in the stereo in your car or possibly on your earpods and whatnot. Some of the artists, you'd realize the human side of it.
Yeah.
They are more human than what they are portrayed out there. So I've just been very privileged, I would say, and thankful for the opportunities, thankful for what Dubai has given me. And so, yeah, the most recent one was with Jason Derulo, and I've had a fair share of time to be with him through his interviews with various media houses and also, having him at rehearsals and other things for the festival we put through together. And I think highly talented and such a wonderful person as well.
And also like another superstar on the way, like you're organizing an event with Salman Khan and other Bollywood celebrities, right? So how is it happening now?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest events for this year now is Dabang Reloaded, which has been announced recently. And Ovid Events and Pragna has been very closely associated with bringing Dabang in 2019. And now it's coming back.
We have talked a lot about events. We have talked a lot about music industry. And now I think we were talking on the internet and everywhere we were talking a lot about Coldplay. The fuss about Coldplay. And the tickets were sold out in minutes. I tried like a couple of times, I still didn't get it. So how these kind of events are being planned? What is the process? Why people didn't get the ticket?
That's digging in a whole new can of worms. But Coldplay, one of the top selling artists, as you all know, Their songs are immensely popular, and their production and their stage, their artistry is on the roof, and their songs are great. And Chris Martin, as you know, is such a great frontman and a great songwriter as well. And so what they've done beautifully is Music of the Spheres. That's their tour that they've been doing since last year, and they have that's one of the first tours where they've aligned it with sustainability, where they're cutting the carbon footprint by a certain percentage. They're implementing so many new things that's like cutting edge technology that they're using, the LED lasers, also the LED wristband, sorry, that the attendees wear, and how it lights up with the music, and also the production, the way the stages are, and so when they're doing something responsible for the planet, and the artistry is like up there, and the whole experience is something what everybody wants to be part of. But unfortunately, most venues can hold a certain size, and only we understand the pain of organizing an event to ensure that everyone is safe, to ensure that everyone's having the best experience, everyone's getting what their money is worth, keeping all these logistics in mind to ensure a safe experience for all, in alignment with all the government protocols, rules, venue rules. So there's a lot of things to keep in mind. So I understand that an artist of such has had that huge influence when it comes to ticket sales, and not many people who I know have been able to get tickets. Even I believe back in my office as well, I think I had a whole list of my team members who put all their laptops and all their devices with being on that queue, and believe me, out of all of them, one of them got 3 tickets. So everyone I speak to, no, they haven't got. So I think it's something to do with the demand. I think there's definitely a need that people want to be part of such experiences, which is great to top it all. And secondly, now people want to explore something. So there are 2 sides of people who are attending this event. One is the people who love music and Coldplay, and they know Coldplay.
Yeah.
The others want to experience an event of such stature. And then you have...
And also could be some people with FOMO.
Absolutely. So what media and what marketing has done, and FOMO, as you know, that it's created a huge wave where there's somebody else, oh, you got Coldplay, I didn't get Coldplay, so I want to be part of that wave. That's how, and it's the beauty of it is that it's created such a storm. For music, it's great for artists that this is happening, and I hope we all get to see Coldplay someday.
Yeah, I hope so too. So let me switch back to your individual side. How do you keep yourself motivated and creative throughout?
You can have dreams, but then you also have a realistic expectations of where you reach, how you reach it. So once you have that roadmap aligned, sometimes you need that elevation. It could be people, it could be experiences, it could be anything. So always understanding that you need that push. It could be inspiration from somebody. It could be a breath of fresh air that you meet somebody who elevates that vision, who align with what you're talking about and give you, that additional push. It could be a few of these things. I keep myself grounded. I try and engage in some kind of a sport, which I've been doing off late, and I've been very lazy and always complain of lack of time. But I think that's always been my go-to in terms of, I used to play a bit of football back in my home country, and here now started playing a bit of cricket. I think it's music. So I make it a point to plug in, my earpods, and I have my playlist running, and I go either for a jog or a walk at night. It's nothing. It's just to clear the clutter. It's to get more clarity, calm your nerves, and re-energize for the next day, I think, which is very important.
Yeah.
And another key aspect that I would love to do this year of what I was left and in 2025 is travel. I love to travel, and I love to explore new places and experiences and food and people. And that's something that really brings a lot of peace, because I'm a very people person. And I wasn't this before. I was more reserved, but now, you can see that I can seamlessly blend, meet people, and I'd like to understand and learn a lot more, because you learn so much. There's stories to tell.
Exactly.
So life is about stories, isn't it?
Yeah,
so,
and every person has a story.
Absolutely.
It was a great session, and it was very insightful. We talked a lot about the event industry. We talked a lot about you. I'm really happy to hear a lot about the celebrities and how you manage and that level of.
Just to add to that, managing celebrities, of course, it's not a single handed job. I have a great team. So, without having great teams and without teamwork and collaboration, those are not possible. So, it's about being professional and being a little calm to understand and how to manage when things go wrong. I think that's the beauty of managing artists and the beauty of doing events.
Yeah, it could always go. I mean, different, right? It's an event.
Yeah,
So
you always
different
have plan B in your head.
Okay, that's great.
Always have plan B.
Okay. So I have a small game planned here. It's going to be straight, like you can give me a one-word answer for the questions I have.
Okay.
So it's called the social game, as candid as we get. Okay, I have my first question. What is the last song on your playlist?
Well, I think that would be With or Without You by U2.
Oh, okay. Which concert blew your mind the most? It can be the one which you have created as well.
Um, no, that was great. But I think one of the best experiences that I visited in Ed Sheeran at the Dubai 7 Stadium, 30,000 people. I think that was mind blowing. And his artistry is out on another league altogether. So that was a great experience. And the second one would be a concert that I attended at Motorpoint Arena in Cardiff, where I saw three of the artists who I've been listening to a lot as a younger boy. I used to listen to a lot of rock and things like that. So I heard Thunder, who opened for Whitesnake, who finally opened for Journey. And these are some of my top artists that I used to listen to as a kid. And to watch them all play on one stage, I was right up there screaming my throat off. So,
London or Dubai?
as a place,
Yeah?
London's very special. UK is very special to me. But I think Dubai beats any place hands down. Can't be even as grateful as I am now for making this second home. So Dubai any day.
Next question, it's which is your favorite indie band?
Indie band artist, quite a few. I would like to point out an artist from India called Girish and the Chronicles. They are bringing hair metal and 90s glam rock to modern day, and they're playing with some of the big names across Europe and everywhere. In fact, in Abu Dhabi last year when Guns N' Roses played, they were the band that opened for Guns N' Roses. And then talking about in this region, Celine D. Matahari. She's a 16-year-old, sings in 16 languages, and I think she's got great potential and she's going to soar to a lot of new heights and new places.
Sanjit, the marketeer or the event architect? So who do you choose in that?
Well, right now I'm leaning towards the event architect because there's more satisfaction to see things pan out the way they do. So
Name one guilty pleasure show you binge watched.
I'm sure you've also got into this whole frenzy with peer pressure and everything. It has to be Game of Thrones. And the amount of pressure I got to even start watching, and once I started watching, nobody needed to convince me after. And I ended up watching the whole 8 seasons or whatever they've had within 3 weeks or 2.5 weeks. So, yeah.
Next question, if you had one superpower, what could that be?
Teleport. I'd like to teleport to places to make things happen, and I'd like to teleport out of places
when you don't have to be there in.
Absolutely.
Great. So today, I'm really happy to have you on this talk on my podcast. It was really inspiring, and thanks, Sanjit, for your time. And you have explained a lot about event industry, creative part of the world, music, which I was not really aware of. I'm still a noob when it comes to music and music industry, but I have learned a lot from you. And as an event director, as an event architect, how you manage things in different scales. I'm really inspired by the inputs, by the information you provided. And thank you so much for being part of this podcast. And good luck. I'm looking forward to see many more big things from you, because I know you won't settle for anything small. You will only go for the biggest.
So like they say, aim for the stars and you land on the trees. So I think there's no, they say sky's the limit, right?
Yeah.
So you dream big, and thank you, Naseef. It's been very inspiring and it's been very encouraging to be here and talk about life and my life in general. And events as such, but I'm still learning, and I think that's the beauty of it. So thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor and pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for watching. Please hit that subscribe button and bell icon to see more upcoming episodes.